Hello, students, and a very warm welcome to all of you. Today, we're going to talk about something really important for all of us living in India, our cultural and educational rights. These are a key part of our constitution, so let's get started.
I want you to just take a moment and think about your own classroom, or maybe even your colony or neighborhood. How many different languages do you hear? Think about all the different festivals your friends celebrate. There's such a variety all around us, isn't there?
You know, this incredible mix of languages, religions, and traditions is what makes our country so colorful and full of life. It's truly one of our biggest strengths. But when you have so much diversity, you also have a big responsibility to protect it.
And that brings us to a challenge. In a democracy, how do we make sure that every single community, every culture, feels safe and respected? Especially when some groups are much, much larger than others.
You see, the basic idea of a democracy is that the group with more people, the majority, has more of a say in things. That's just how the system is designed to work. So what about the smaller groups, the minorities? Well, they might naturally start to worry. They might think, with the majority culture all around us, will our own unique language and our special traditions get lost over time? And that's a very real concern. And this is exactly where our wonderful Constitution comes in. The people who wrote it, they thought about this problem very carefully. They created something like a promise, a protective shield for every single community in India. This shield is made of what we call our fundamental rights. The Constitution gives us 6 of them, and they aren't just ordinary rules. They are special, powerful protections for every single citizen. Now, while all of them are very important, today we're going to focus on one set in particular, the cultural and educational rights. As the name suggests, these are the rights that are specifically designed to protect that beautiful diversity we were just talking about. Okay, so what do these rights actually do for us? Let's break them down one by one to see what they mean in our everyday lives. The very first protection is the right to conserve culture. This is quite straightforward. It means that if a community has its own distinct language or culture, they have a complete right to protect it and to help it grow. For example, they can publish books in their language or celebrate their own festivals proudly. At its heart, this right makes sure that a community can keep its heritage alive. It ensures they can pass on their stories, their customs, and their language from parents to children and from one generation to the next. All right, let's move on to education. This is so important. The Constitution says that any school run by the government or getting help from the government cannot refuse to give admission to a student just because of their religion or the language they speak. This is a powerful guarantee of equal opportunity. And the reason for this is to make sure our school gates are open for every child. It helps create classrooms where students from all backgrounds can sit together, learn together, and, of course, make friends. This is how we build unity and respect right from a young age. Now, there's another right connected to this. Minority communities have the right to set up and run their own schools and colleges. This is important because it allows them to have institutions that can focus on teaching their own culture, language, or religious values. But you might be thinking, who exactly is a minority? Well, that's a great question because the answer actually changes depending on where you are. For instance, in the state of Punjab, the Sikh community is the majority. But in Delhi, they would be considered a minority community. The same applies to language. Someone who speaks Telugu is in the majority in Andhra Pradesh, but they'd be a minority in Karnataka. It's all about context. So now that we know what these rights are, let's ask the big question. Why do they matter so much? How does protecting smaller communities actually make the whole of India stronger? Well, think of it like a chain reaction. First, when communities feel their identity is protected, they feel safe and valued. This leads to the second step. Mutual respect between different groups begins to grow. And when that happens, our democracy works better for everyone, not just for the majority. And all of this put together makes our national unity much, much stronger. Because at the end of the day, a healthy democracy isn't just about voting. It truly works well only when every community, no matter how big or small, feels safe, feels respected, and feels included as a part of the nation. And that's the beautiful balance our Constitution gives us. These rights tell every community that they can and should preserve their own identity, while at the same time being a full and equal partner in the life of our nation. So I'll leave you with this final thought. These rights are not just for a textbook. They are about how we live together every day. So I want you to think, how can you, in your own way, Learn about or celebrate a different culture that you see in your school or your neighborhood this week. Thank you for joining me.